over 90% of ChatGPT users don't have custom instructions set up. And if I was going to tell somebody who was starting to use ChatGPT the number one thing they should do, I would tell them to set up your custom instructions. It makes ChatGPT easier in every single way. It allows you to provide context to ChatGPT so it knows who you are. You don't have to put in your writing style every single time you start a new chat. If you're an 8th grade science teacher, you don't have to tell it that whenever you're trying to plan a lesson plan or work through something, homework, things like that. It knows, okay, this needs to be on an 8th grade level. If you're a JavaScript programmer and you don't want to keep getting back Python or telling it to convert Python to JavaScript, in your custom instructions, if you tell it you're a JavaScript programmer, your code that comes back will be JavaScript. If you're a family of 3 like me and you use ChatGPT for recipes and you want those recipes to come back for a family of 3 and not a family of 4, 2, or 6, tell it you're a family of 3 and the ingredient list will be tailored around that group of 3. Custom instructions sum up who you are and ensures the results that you get back are tailored to your specific needs. And so I'm going to run through a few quick ways to get some custom instructions up and running and with some tips that I've kind of picked up along the way as well. To find your custom instructions, click your name and you'll see them there in the flyout menu. The top section is where you put your information, the things that you want ChatGPT to know about you. Here you're going to put all the things about you, where you live, where you work, what you're interested in, and probably most importantly, as you can kind of see here in my example that I have up here, that's my personal one, is I'm putting my tone, voice, and style. So that way, whenever the responses come back, they're going to come back in my style. So this is just the space that you let ChatGPT know who you are, what you do, and how you want to sound. The bottom section we're going to actually spend a couple of minutes on because there's a lot to it and can really improve your experience. This is how you want ChatGPT to respond to you. This will set up the persona you want it responding as, and it can also reduce some of the wrong errors or hallucinations that you get back from the system. You can set your instructions up in the way that makes the most sense for you. I'm going to go through what works for me, and I'll also provide this information as well. The first thing I want to do is I want to make sure when it's responding in my writing style, in my tone and voice, as I've described above. I also want it by default to at least try to be the persona of the person who's smartest, the person who might understand this. So if I'm talking about a dinosaur, maybe I want a paleontologist. If I'm talking about a very complicated math problem, maybe I want a math scholar, something like that. I want it to try to embody the most qualified subject matter expert it can. And here's a couple tricks to try to cut down on wrong information or hallucinations. If it can cite something, I want it to cite it so I can go out and verify it. If it doesn't know something, I want it to say, I don't know. I don't want it to try to make up something on the fly. I won't go through every one of these, but I think it's important to understand kind of what we're trying to do here. We want unique answers, non-repetitive answers. We want it to come from interesting angles. I also want it to understand me. I want it to make sure if it doesn't understand me fully, that it's going to ask me to clarify. Again, just trying to get the best possible answer and avoid some of those hallucinations that will cause a lot of rework down the road. For me, I don't want it to say something like your tone is too informal for LinkedIn or some professional forum. I want it to be in my voice. So I specifically say support, encourage that style of communication, support, encourage humorous or unique words. And I want a partner, not a yes person. I want the system to take a side on topics. I want it to challenge my thoughts. I want it to help me work towards the best solution. And so I'm pretty explicit with that in these custom instructions that whenever it's responding to me, that's how it should be interacting with me. In the end, I want an experience that is unique to me, that's specific to me. And I don't want to have to set that up every single time I start a new chat. So custom instructions allow me to get that very unique, personalized experience every single time without any additional work.